Hi everyone, it's Lisa Mears. Thank you for joining me. In my video today, I'm going to be making a winter card using some brand new products from Pretty Pink Posh's October 2022 release. You all know how I love to make shaker cards, so I just couldn't wait to play with this Mitten shaker die set from Pretty Pink Posh. I will also be using this brand new layered snowflakes stencil. It comes with 3 stencils and allows you to make some snowflakes on your cards. And if you're interested in any of these products, I will have links listed in the description box of this YouTube video for all of the products that you see. So I want to start out by showing you how to make a shaker out of the Mitten die set. So I've die cut a piece of blue cardstock as well as a piece of white glitter cardstock. But for the white glitter cardstock, I only needed to die cut the cuff of the mitten because that's the only portion that I wanted to be in the white glitter. So I snipped off the very ends of that cuff that are not needed, and I'm just going to put glue on the back and I'm going to attach it to the cuff portion of the blue mitten. Now, of course, you could have made your mitten one color, but I think by adding 2 colors gives some nice contrast and just adds some more variety to the mitten. Next, I will add glue to the back and then I will glue it onto a piece of clear acetate. And then I'll just use my scissors and I will snip around the outside of the mitten to remove any excess acetate. Next, I'm taking a thin piece of foam and I'm just outlining the back side of the mitten where the cardstock appears. So making sure that the foam doesn't go into the acetate portion of the mitten, just outlining along the edge where the cardstock is. After adding the foam around the hand portion of the mitten, I then put some foam along the cuff portion, and again, this is located on the back side of the mitten. To fill my shaker, I am going to be using some of the new Confetti mix from Pretty Pink Posh. So the red and white mix is called Peppermint mix, and then the blue and white is the Winter Snowflake mix. So the red and white mix, the Peppermints mix, has some red and white sprinkles and some small peppermint shaped clay confetti. I'm only adding the sprinkles and not adding the peppermints. And then for the blue and white mix, the Winter Snowflakes mix, I'm adding it all. And that has some white and light blue and darker blue sprinkles, as well as some white and blue snowflakes. So I just put it there in the center of that piece of pattern paper, and then I'm going to remove the backing from my foam and I'm going to pop that mitten right on top of the pattern paper. So I'm just making sure that all of the confetti mix is in the center because I want to make sure I can get a good snug fit for my mitten on top of this cardstock. Next, I'm going to use my scissors and I'm just going to trim along the outside edge of the mitten to remove any of the excess cardstock away from the mitten. Now I'm going to go ahead and set aside the mitten shaker and I'm going to work on the background for my card. So I have a piece of white cardstock that I cut down to 6 inches by 6 inches, which is the same size as the stencil. I did spray some Pixie Spray on the back of the stencil before hooking it there onto my mat with the magnets. Pixie Spray is a low-tack adhesive that just simply helps keep that stencil down onto the paper so that when you ink over the openings of the stencil does not move. So for stencil layer A, I'm adding the Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide ink. This layer A stencil contains some of the largest snowflakes in the stencil set, but there are also a few smaller snowflakes on this particular stencil as well. So once I finish adding all of the ink to that layer, I remove layer A and I add stencil layer B. So I'm just going to add my Pixie Spray to this stencil, and then I'm going to line it up onto my cardstock. This stencil has some medium-sized snowflakes, and this time I'm going to use the Broken China Distress Oxide ink. So this is a little bit darker and brighter blue than the first one. So I love this layered snowflake stencil because if you wanted to, you can either color all your snowflakes in one color, or you can do as I'm doing, and with each layer you can do a variety of colors for some more depth onto your card. So after inking up stencil layer B, I will remove that stencil, and you can already see the beautiful multicolors of those snowflakes. So here is stencil layer C. I'm going to go ahead and line that up. This one has the smallest snowflakes in the 3-layer set, and I'm inking this one up with the Speckled Egg, which is my lightest blue color. And I'll go ahead and apply that to all of the remaining snowflakes. And once I'm finished, I'll remove the stencil and you can see all of those beautiful colors. So I'll go ahead and cut this paper down off camera to 5.5 by 5.5, and I'm adding it to a piece of blue cardstock that measures 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Now I'll start assembling all of the items on the front of the card. So my card is actually going to have 2 mittens. One of the mittens is not going to be a shaker, and the other mitten will be a shaker. So I just die cut the mitten again, just like I did initially, and I'm just putting it together, and I'll set that aside while I work on this sentiment. The sentiment I'm using is the Winter Wishes script die set. I die cut it out of some gray cardstock, and I'm just going to start positioning everything on the front of this card to make sure that I have enough room for this sentiment. You can see that the mittens are going to take up a large part of space on this card, so I want to just rest them on the card front where I want them to be, just to make sure that I can add the sentiment to the card front without it going over the side of the cardstock. So I figure that putting it at an angle like I'm doing is my best option. So I go ahead and glue the Winter Wishes down to the card front. And you can see that I have the non-shaker mitten is going to lay underneath of the shaker one. So I'm going to glue that flat to my cardstock. Once I glue the outline of the mitten down, I'll be able to insert the pattern paper that I die cut out as well. And then I will add the shaker mitten right next to it. I'm coming back in and adding the dots for the word winter in the I in winter, as well as the I in wishes. So I'm just adding those back. And then I have a ribbon from my stash. I tied it in a bow and I added it to the mittens. And then I have this snowflake that also came with the mitten die. I just die cut it out of some white glitter cardstock, the same white glitter cardstock that I used for the cuffs, and I added it to the top right hand corner of the mitten, and I also added a ruby red pearl to the center. Once I finish putting all of that onto the card front, I go ahead and add that entire layer to my card base that measures 6 by 6 inches. And that completes my card. So I hope you liked my card today. If you did, please click that like button and be sure to click that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so that you'll be notified every time I release a new video. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.